downtown. And so I think we've got to do everything in our power to make sure that our downtown is vibrant, because I believe it leaves the tax burden of cities, of residents rather, who don't live in downtown. I believe greater density is a big key to helping our downtown be vibrant. I don't think you necessarily have to build higher and have greater density, but I would be in favor of higher buildings. Now, how high, I think that needs to be a community conversation.
Okay, Ms. Outwell.
It's funny, density is always the elephant in the room, and all these conversations that we've had in the past, how many years I've been involved in the community, I want to take a look at the downtown residential overlay district too. We're going to be revisiting the DROD.
Would you change the current high density plan, and would you go higher?
I would look into that. I want to have community input on that, because I think we do need, as been said, live, work, and play downtown. And as far as the residential neighborhoods, they're as good as the urban core is, and we really need to take a look at how we bring people living downtown.
Okay, I'm going to move along a little faster with the topics. We're talking about the police. The City of Sarasota Police Department is quite often in the news citing instances of excessive use of force, harassment, and profiling. On the other side, it's also been noted, not just with our city manager, but also with some panel members, that the city police has been getting a bad rap. First question I'm going to ask is, what is your responsibility as commissioner to ensure you have accountability of a professional police force? I'm going to start with Ms. Holland.
I think we made a major step in that direction of accountability with our new police chief. She's just, the thing that I like about her so much is that she's so straightforward. She is taking on any and every issue as it comes up. She's not shy. She's not afraid to shy away from it. And I think she's going to just bring the stability to the police force that it has needed. And as I think all of you know, I'm a very, very strong supporter of the Sarasota Police Department, because for 30 years they've had my back, and I think they're a great agency, and I think they're going to do even better things in the future.
Thank you, Ms. Outwell.
Yes, I couldn't agree more with that. I think with our new police chief, Bernadette DePino, she is, talk about boots on the ground, or heels on the ground. She is absolutely phenomenal, and I think, and this goes to a new day in our city hall anyway, with all the new hires, and I probably won't get a chance to talk about that, how defining that is in this city right now, with all the things that we're talking about, all our new high-level management hires, from the city manager to the police chief and on down. But yes, we need to talk about training, accountability.
Thank you.
They're having a lot of training that's going to go on, and Chief DePino is going to be front and center.
Thank you, Mr. Lumpkin.
Being on the city's police advisory panel has given me opportunities to do ride-alongs with the police, and those have been eye-opening. First of all, we have some great men and women who serve on the SPD. I've marveled at how they deal with people effectively, but in anything, you've got some good apples, you have some bad apples. You have some good cops and bad cops, you got some good preachers and some bad ones. I think one of the things that the SPD needs to do, if it's not doing, is to make some provision for helping these officers deal with stress. Every time I do a ride-along, we encounter some stressful situation, and I can understand how some of these officers are on edge, and that doesn't justify inappropriate behavior. But I do think we've made a good decision. And I was on one of the citizen advisory panels to interview the new chief of police. I think she's great, and I think she's going to hold us accountable. And we also have a city manager who wasn't a police officer.
I've got to blow through this, so nobody yells at me for going over. All right, Mr. Tyson.
I don't think I feel like second guessing the police at the present time.
Great, thank you. Mr. Gorman. You got 30 seconds.
I was recently endorsed by the Police Benevolent Association, so I am a fan of the police, and I think it goes back to what I said before. The police need clear rules of engagement. They're being vilified with a damned if you do, damned if you don't sort of attitude, and it's demoralizing to them. Give them clear rules of engagement, let them carry out the ordinance of the city, and hold them accountable. There will be bad apples, just there are in any industry, but give them clear direction, and that starts from the top.
Thank you. Ms. Chapman.
Inappropriate use of force is exceedingly rare. With regard to most of the police activities, it's peacekeeping, and there are very few instances of inappropriate use of force or excessive use of force. But the Sarasota Police Department has experienced quite a few of those videotaped incidents, and that has hurt the police image in this community. It is not an image that we as a community want, so we've got better management
Thank
as
you.
a result.
Okay, I've got a ton more questions, but we're running out of time. I'm going to do a lightning round, which means you only get to answer yes or no, and I'm going to blow it through you guys. In fairness, I'm just going to go up and down the row so we can move it a little faster. First question is, have we heard the last of the parking meters, Miss Atwell? Yes or no? Yes.
Actually,
Yes or no? No? Okay.
No.
Yes or no? No? Ms. Chapman?
No.
Mr. Dorfman?
Yes.
Ms. Holland?
Yes.
Mr. Lumpkin?
No.
Mr. Tyson?
Yes.
Have you voted in the last 4 city elections, the 2 in 2009 and the 2 in 2011? Mr. Tyson?
Yes.
Mr. Lumpkin?
No.
Ms. Holland?
Yes.
Mr. Dorfman?
I was not in the country.
Yes or no? Yes or no? Ms. Chapman?
Yes.
Ms. Atwell?
yes.
Okay, next question. Should the Van Wezel be privatized? Ms. Atwell? Yes or no? Yes or no? I know, it's really hard putting everybody on the spot, but I gotta move.
That's a tough
You
one.
can refrain.
At this point in time, no.
Okay, Ms. Chapman?
No.
Mr. Dorfman?
Yes.
Ms. Holland?
No.
Mr. Lumpkin?
Sunday, yes.
Mr. Tyson?
No.
All right, do you support a strong mayor, Mr. Tyson? Strong
No.
mayor, sorry. Mr. Lumpkin, do you support a strong mayor?
I support an elected mayor.
That would be yes or no? Yes?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Dorfman? Okay.
No.
Yes.
Okay. Will you put back the 5 park benches in 5 Points Park? Ms. Atwell? Yes or no?
Some point, yes.
Yes.
Some point. yes.
Ms. Chapman?
Yes.
Mr. Dorfman?
With dividers.
That's a yes or no? Okay, so we take that as a no. Ms. Holland? Yes, you will put them back. We heard that. Ms. Holland?
Yes, eventually.
No, yes or no, folks? Mr. Lumpkin?
Yes.
Mr. Tyson?
No.
All right. Do you support keeping the noise ordinance at the place as it stands now with a 10 p.m. curfew? Mr. Tyson?
Yes.
Mr. Lumpkin?
No.
Ms. Holland?
No.
Mr. Dorfman?
No.
Ms. Chapman?
Yes.
Ms. Atwell?
No.
Are you in favor of extending the Community Redevelopment Advisory Board beyond 2016? Ms. Atwell?
Yes.
Ms. Chapman?
Yes.
Mr. Dorfman?
Yes.
Ms. Holland?
Yes.
Mr. Lumpkin?
Yes.
And Mr. Tyson?
Yes.
All right, are you in favor of making the Cluck pilot program permanent? Mr. Tyson?
Club.
Cluck, C-L-U-C-K, the chicken?
Oh,
Cluck.
Why didn't you say yes? Yes. Club.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Lumpkin, okay, well, you can say you're not familiar with it. It's a pilot program to have chickens in the city.
I love chicken, so yes.
Yes, for the chickens. Ms. Holland, yes? Mr. Dorfman?
Clock, yes.
Yes, sir. Ms. Chapman? And Ms.
Yes.
Atwell?
Yes.
Okay, would you have signed a 30-year agreement with FP&L? Ms. Atwell?
Yes.
Ms. Chapman? The 30-year FP&L agreement, would you have signed it? Yes or no? Yes or no?
No.
Okay, Mr. Dorfman?
Yes.
Ms. Holland?
Yes.
Mr. Lumpkin?
Yes.
Mr. Tyson?
No.
Okay, I got 2 more questions. Are you in favor of continuing the police advisory panel? Mr. Tyson?
No.
Mr. Lumpkin?
Yes.
Ms. Holland?
No.
Mr. Dorfman?
No.
Ms. Chapman?
Yes.
And Ms. Atwell?
No.
Yes or no? Okay. What about the police complaint panel? Ms. Atwell?
No.
Ms. Chapman?
Yes.
Mr. Dorfman?
No.
Ms. Holland?
No.
Mr. Lumpkin?
No.
And Mr. Tyson?
No.
Okay, I think I'm bringing in on time, 30 seconds to spare. I'm now going to open it up to the audience. Please let me remind you that only members can ask a question, and it has to be a question, because just like I've been cutting the candidates off, I will cut you off too, so get straight to your point. Okay. And I Mr. Ken Sheelan, because he was kind enough to allow me this opportunity, so I will let you go first.
Okay, Ken Sheelan, Tiger member. Over the last 10 years, there have been several instances of misbehavior by city staff. None of these instances were investigated or found by the city auditor and clerk. What would you do to assure that the city had a professional and highly qualified and effective auditing program to assure cost-effective government for the city?
Are you asking the entire panel?
You bet.
Where do you want to start?
With Ms. Atwell.
Ms. Zappa?
Yeah, I think we need to look into that, and Ken, what I'll say to that right now, and you've been very articulate on this since all this began, and I'm willing to look into that, to narrow that to that scope, because I don't want this thing has been shameful as far as I'm concerned, what has happened over the past year, and we still haven't gotten a report from Silent Company, so.
Thank you. Mr. Dorfman, you care?
I've not heard a lot of problems with the audit other than what has gone by, and I think rather than having the auditor problem, looking at that, I think we ought to look at the integrity of our elected officials and make sure we elect people who will do the right thing and not try to do things in the dark.
Anyone else care to answer? Mr. Tyson?
Yeah, it kind of starts at the top, and if the elected officials are snakes, well, they're kind of setting the wrong example. That's if they are, of course. But I think if you find somebody doing something naughty, well, you have a particular demerit system, and too many demerits, and you have to stand in the corner.
Thank you. Anyone else care to answer?
Yes, well, this is the responsibility of those who get elected to earn and to maintain the public's trust. And Ken, since you brought it up, if I'm elected, that's something we can certainly talk about. And I'll do everything I can as a city commission, use whatever the influence that we have is to make sure that our staff is conducting themselves in an integrous way. Thank you.
Ms. Chapman?
I think we need a strong audit function, and we don't have it now. We really do need professional auditors either within or without of our city. And I supported the same initiative that Mr. Sheelan supported because of that.
Ms. Holland, would you care to answer?
I think I'll pass.
Okay, not a problem. We're going to go on to the next question.
Yes, Mr. Tyson, it is the year of the snake kicking off on Sunday, so thank you for mentioning snake. I'm Leanne Chung, and I'm wondering how well researched all the city commissioner candidates are. Could you share with me or with the audience one factoid or fun factoid of our new city manager, Mr. Barwin? So start with Mr. Tyson and just go down the panel. If you could share one factoid or fun factoid of Mr. Barwin, city manager.
The first thing I noticed about him is that he doesn't like sunshine.
Okay. Would you care to verify and give us an example of why you would say that?
Well, in fairness to him, there's a lot of other people who don't like sunshine. I asked if I could videotape a meeting, and he said, "Oh, well, I'd rather you didn't."
Okay, thank you. Mr. Dorfman?
I was very
Oh,
impressed
I'm
by the
sorry,
fact.
you went down the panel. Go ahead, I apologize. Go ahead,
I was
Mr.
very
Dorfman.
impressed by the fact that Tom Barwin has a son playing in the NFL.
Okay. Mr. Lumpkin?
He's a duper. Isn't he a duper? A dear
He's a
old
what?
park. There's a name that people from Oak Park call themselves. Yeah. A duper. He's a duper.
Thought he said Duber.
He gave some tremendous advice in a forum just a night or so ago up at New College, and it was that everyone should stay calm.
Ms. Chapman?
He brought together, in Oak Park, he brought together the historic neighborhood and the downtown and the merchants and the developers in order to build a large building in a public-private partnership that is 20 stories and managed to please everyone.
Thank you.
And I thought that was really amazing.
Ms. Atwell?
Yeah, I was going to say the NFL thing too, but Richard stole that. I think Tom Barwin, and I've come to know him pretty well, he's got this can-do, genteel, Midwestern style. I don't want to say laid back. He's going to be very proactive, and I believe bring us together.
Okay, thank you. Next question.
Norman Schimmel, as an ex-CEO of international and domestic corporations, I use that as a background for my advisory board work, etc. What in your business backgrounds are you going to use to professionalize the city commission and make it run more efficiently?
Where in your background can you bring it to the panel to make the city commission run more efficiently? Is that, in a sense, what you're asking?
I'll start. I'm the only incumbent up here, and I sit alone. But the past 4 years, I believe I have used my skills, and I have the soft skills. Thank you. And I think they're extremely important in this world, whether it's corporate America or it's the municipal government of collaboration, collective, doing things with collegiality, with humor, with all the things that I try to do. Our commission may not agree on things. We have a lot of 3-2 votes, but I think we know how, for the most part, to get along.
Great.
Those are the skills I bring in, and it goes to whether it's the constituents coming up before us to be able to assess that, assess the neighborhoods, all the psychodynamics, to me, has been critical.
Thank you. Ms. Holland?
On a smaller scale than perhaps some in the room, I'm a business owner and I manage over 50 residential rental units. And I can tell you that is a tough business, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. And I deal with some pretty diversified and very tough clients, if you will. And I have to make decisions, quick decisions often, and decisions all day long. And so I think I bring that kind of thing to the table of being able to make some really tough decisions.
Thank you. Anyone else? Mr. Lumpkin?
Yes. After college, I was administrator of a skilled nursing facility, and I then went on to pastoring and other community things. And one of the things I've had to do that's helped me in leading both those organizations is being a consensus builder. You have to have a thick skin. You have to listen to everybody. You have to even allow your thoughts to be challenged so that we can work together. And I think that's one of the chief roles of a commissioner, is to be a consensus builder. You're not a strong mayor. You're going to have to work with 4 other individuals, and you better do that. And you sometimes have to put your personal preference aside to work for the whole.
Thank you.
Cities are like little businesses, and I've got 30 years of business experience. What you have to do is be personally accountable for what you're going to do. You have to deliver shareholder value. You have to allocate your budgetary items where they're going to be the most use, and I think you have to build a consensus. You have to build your board together with a consensus to get things done. And I think as a candidate up here, I probably have the most of that type of business experience, and I hope to apply that to managing a city.
Mr. Tyson?
There's another side of efficiency. I think the city commission has gotten a little too slick. I've noticed that time after time the citizens will present their 3 minutes and it's as though they didn't say anything. There's no consideration given to what they say. There's no comments made.
Mr. Tyson, I think the question was, what talents do you bring to the commission that will help you?
Okay, I'm aware of efficiency. I'm just not so sure we want it in government. I think democracy was founded in a little bit of a disorderly manner, and I think it needs to continue.
Okay, anyone else want to answer? Mrs. Chapman?
Well, as a 35-year practicing attorney, I've been in business and I have measurable results in this community. And I would say that I bring thinking and judging skills based upon 35 years of evaluating data, including expert witnesses and whether they're really experts. I think we need more thinking and judging on the commission.
Thank you. Okay, we're running short on time, so I hope your questions prompt quick, precise answers. Mr. Lobeck.
Ms. Dorfman, you were asked a question about concurrency, the rule that says the developer can't overcrowd congested roads, like at Fruitville and Benito. You said seeking to limit the traffic by developers is an outdated concept. You really think the citizens of the city of Sarasota agree with you that the time to prevent gridlock is in the past and we should embrace the ability of developers to put unlimited traffic on our roads? You really think that?
First of all, I didn't say that.
Yeah, you said it's an outdated concept.
I said it's an outdated, it could be an outdated concept.
No, you
What
said
I
it is
said
an outdated
concurrency is about building around a central community where you don't have to have a lot of traffic running around. I didn't say anything about Beneva and more traffic.
That was the
or anything
example
else.
given to you.
Sorry.
That was the example given to you. You said it is, not maybe. And
Okay.
I've got a tape. It is an outdated concept.
All right.
Your developer buddies want unlimited traffic congestion, but the people of this city don't.
Okay, we're
How
gonna
can you
give,
be against the people of this city?
I'm not aware that we are suffering that great.
okay, gentlemen, I'm pressed
You
on
will if
time.
you're elected. You obviously will.
Okay, and I'll give you plenty of opportunity after today to talk to each other as well. Mr. Viter,
I have a question from.
I'm sorry, can you speak a little into the microphone?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
My name is Jesse Biter. I have a question for Ms. Chapman. You mentioned earlier that you don't support increased density. I live, work, and play downtown. I have 30 employees just about that I employ downtown that want to live downtown. Recently, I purchased some property on Main Street, about 22,000 square feet. With the current law, I can build a 10-story building there with 50 units per acre, which works out to 22 units. So, take off the first layer for retail.
What is the question?
The question is, you're forced to build 7,000 square foot units, which only supports, rich people and snowbirds. If you cap those buildings at 10
What is
stories.
the question?
The story is, why do you not support increased density?
I support increased density in walk-to-town neighborhoods, including especially the Rosemary District. I would also consider it in Park East because they want it. They want it. We have increased density where there is no demand in some areas. We've had a lot of projects that we've created supply for, but there's no demand and they're unbuilt projects. I would like more information on the demand for those units before we start and undertake to change our downtown plan.
Thank you.
Part of our problem is lack of demand and not lack of supply.
Thank you. Okay, I have another question over here, please. No, that's you?
Mike Taylor, I'm planning to sell my house. How would you convince me to move into the city?
Oh, boy. Okay, I'm not gonna let it open to everyone, just anyone who'd like to answer, if we can keep it precise, because we're already at quarter after. Ms. Chapman?
We're a neighborly city, and we have a lot of the neighborly aspects that people in the 1950s seem to have. We have our neighborhood picnics, we have parades, we have a lot of fun events and a lot of camaraderie.
Thank you. Anyone else?
For Mike's purposes, I want him to know there's going to be a brand new Tai Chi studio opening up downtown.
Okay, thank you. All right, let me go on.
Well, I'd like to
Okay,
respond to
absolutely.
Mike, if I may. Mike, you could move into my building. The rents are only about $650 a month.
Write that down. Okay, next question.
My name is Frank Brenner. I have a question concerning the vagrancy problem. The first thing a doctor does is he stops the bleeding. You contain the problem, and then you go on to deal with the problem. So my question is basically this. We right now have 3 times more vagrants than any